हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, आज हम 10th हिस्ट्री का चैप्टर नंबर 3 द मेकिंग ऑफ ग्लोबल वर्ल्ड के 1 या 2 मार्कर्स क्वेश्चंस करने जा रहे हैं। इनको आप बहुत ही ध्यान से करें क्योंकि इन छोटे क्वेश्चंस से आपको लेसन की बहुत सी जानकारी मिल जाती है और आप लॉन्ग क्वेश्चंस का जवाब देते हुए इनका इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं बिना देरी किए हुए।
Question number 1 says, what was the position of China and India among the countries in the 18th century? Answer to question. Number 1 point. Number 1 is until 18th century, China and India were among the world's richest countries. Point number 2 is they were also prominent in Asian trade. Question number 2 says, why did the European leave Europe for America in the 19th century? Answer to question number 2 is, the reason were poverty, hunger, diseases, religious conflict and persecution of religious dissenters. Question number 3 says, what was the most powerful weapon of Spanish conquerors of America? Answer to question number 3 is the most powerful weapon of the Spanish conquerors was not a conventional military weapon at all. It was the germs such as those of smallpox that they carried on their person. Question number 4 is, by the 18th century in America, how did the plantations work and what was grown there? Answer to question number 4 is, in America by the 18th century, plantations work was done by slaves captured in Africa. They were growing cotton and sugar for European markets. Question number 5 is, which were the 3 types of movements or flows within international economic exchanges? Answer to question. Number 5 is first point, flow of trade, i.e. trade in goods. Second point, flow of labor, i.e. migration of people in search of employment. And the third point is movement of capital for short-term or long-term investments over long distances. Question number 6 says, state one reason that was responsible for the increased demand for food grains in Britain in the late 18th century. Answer to question number 6 is population growth. Question number 7 says, what were canal colonies in Punjab? Answer to question. Number 7 is a network of irrigation canals was established in Punjab by the British Indian government to turn semi-desert waste into fertile agricultural land that could cultivate wheat and cotton for export. Question number 8 is, what were corn laws? Why were they passed? Answer to question. Number 8 is, the laws allowing the government to restrict the import of corn were known as corn laws. Under pressure from landed groups, the government had passed these laws. Question number 9 says, mention 2 steps that were taken to meet the increased demand for the food in Britain. Answer to question number 9 is, lands were cleared in Eastern Europe, Russia, America, to expand food production to meet the British demand. New harbors were built, and old ones expanded to ship the new cargoes. Question number 10 says, why were the Europeans attracted towards Africa? Answer to question number 10 is, Europeans were attracted to Africa to its vast resources of land and minerals. They hoped to establish plantations and mines to produce crops and minerals for export to Europe. Question number 11 says, what do you understand by indentured labor? Answer to question number 11 is, a bonded laborer under contract has to work for an employer for a specific amount of time to pay off his passage to a new country or home. Question number 12 is, what were the main destinations of Indian indentured migrants in the 19th century? Answer to question number 12 is, main destinations were the Caribbean islands, i.e. Trinidad, Guyana, Suriname, Mauritius, and Fiji. Question number 13 says, why Indian workers were forced to migrate in search of work as indentured workers in the 19th century? Answer to question number 13. 3. Main points are decline of cottage industries, rise in land rent, clearing of lands for mines and plantations. Question number 14 says, which problem were faced by the independent nations that became free after the Second World War? Answer to question number 14 is, these nations faced the problems as mentioned below. First one is poverty. Second point is lack of resources. And the third point is, their economies were handicapped by long period of colonial rule. Question number 15 says, why did the most developing countries organize themselves as a group of 77? Answer to question number 15 is they organized themselves as a group of 77 because they did not got benefit from the fast growth of Western economics experienced in the 1950s and 1960s. Question number 16 says, state any one factor responsible for shaping post-war reconstruction. Answer to question number 16 is emergence of the U.S. as the dominant economic, political, and military power in the Western world. Question number 17 is name the foods that were introduced in Europe and Asia after the discovery of America by Christopher Columbus. Answer to question number 17 is the foods were potatoes, soya, groundnuts, maize, tomatoes, chilies, and sweet potatoes. Question number 18 is who took pasta to Sicily? Answer to question number 18 is perhaps Arab traders took pasta to 5th century Sicily, an island now in Italy. Question number 19 says, what does the name Silk Routes point to? Answer to question number 19 is the name Silk Routes points to the importance of westbound Chinese silk cargoes along the route. Question number 20 says mention one example of vibrant pre-modern trade and cultural links between distant parts of the world. Answer to question number 20 is the Silk Routes are a good example of vibrant pre-modern trade and cultural links between distant parts of the world. Question number 21 is, to which century the long-distance spread of disease-carrying germs may be traced? Answer to question number 21 is 7th century. Question number 22 is what do you understand by exchange rates? Answer to question number 22 is exchange rate is the price of one currency in terms of another currency. Question number 23 is trade flourished and markets expanded in the late 18th century world. Although it was a big achievement of the time, but it had its darker side too. What was it? Answer to question number 23 is, in many parts of the world, colonized people lost their freedoms and livelihoods. Question number 24 is what is the difference between fixed exchange rates and flexible exchange rates? Answer to question number 24 is in a fixed exchange rate system, governments try to keep the values of their currencies constant against one another. While in a flexible exchange rate system, they allow the exchange rate to be determined by supply and demand. Question number 25 is why did thousands of people flee Europe for America? Answer to question number 25 is until the 19th century, poverty and hunger were common in Europe. Cities were crowded and deadly diseases were widespread. Religious conflicts were common and religious dissenters were persecuted. Hence, many people fled Europe for America.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. God bless you.